What?
Greetings, everyone. This is a shot of whiskey. My apologies if my voice sounds terrible right now. I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning lately. One of my sisters moved back to our childhood hometown with her kids. My mom is moving a bunch of her old crap that, in some cases, is older than her. I've also been helping my son rearrange the furniture in his room. As such, my throat feels like I was sucking off a vacuum bag. Anyway, I'm going to try to make part 4, which is the first quote-unquote half of the final category, talking about race. Now, it's not an evenly split count, but I do have a reason for it. Now, before we get into this bigoted nonsense, I want to take this opportunity to ask what I did at the end of my previous video. Should I do this response stuff again for June for the Alphabet Mafia questions? Okay, now I'm ready.
Does a person of color automatically mean black to you? I'm a person of color too.
Personally, I believe that whenever someone uses the phrase, a person of color, any and all decent people should automatically respond with, shut up! Now, in your defense, as well as ours, usually when your fellow leftists complain about something relating to people of color, they are referring to black people. Every now and then, I sarcastically call myself a person of color because white is also a color. In fact, according to the laws of physics, white is a color and black is not. I don't use the phrase except in conversations with your rabid brethren because it's stupid.
Can we stop calling ourselves people of color or ethnic people? Because every time you say that, me as a person of color, every time you say something like that, you're affirming the idea that white people are the normal people.
I usually say non-white instead because it is more accurate compared to what you bigots genuinely mean. Anyone who is not white.
Why do you think all brown people are Indian?
Name one person who thinks that. One. That person, if they exist, is a moron. Do not conflate all white people with this one imbecile that you are most likely fabricating. Yes, I genuinely believe that you made this up. There is no way in hell that any white American believes that all brown people are Indian. We are not that stupid.
Why do you think you deserve a high five for pronouncing my name correctly?
Speaking as someone who has been announcing for high school sports for over 20 years, I can testify that this is not an easy thing to do, and it's not just Asian names either. There are plenty of European names that look like they were spelled by somebody humping a keyboard. Have you ever seen the name Nguyen? I've been told that this is pronounced win, as in the Seattle Mariners will never win the World Series. Then there's that gay Asian reporter that Antifa really loves. You see that surname of his, N-G-O. Based on win, it might make sense to assume that this would be pronounced whoa. But it's not. No. That's how you say that. Andy, no. Not whoa. And let's go back to that Emma Stone movie y'all were whining about earlier. Her character's name is spelled N-G. That's it. What the flippity-doo-dah am I supposed to make out of that? Nug? Nag? Nog? Nag? Never mind. I had to look up a clip on YouTube to get an idea. According to the movie, it's pronounced ing. Don't believe me? Here's the scene.
Oh, Captain Ring.
It's ing.
Oh.
It's like ring, but without the R or the I.
How is any English-speaking white American supposed to figure that one out on their own? If he got that right on the very first try, he would deserve more than a high five. He would deserve a handy. And you know what else? You know damn good and well that if someone butchers the ever-living Yahoo out of your name repeatedly, that your fake news outlet would write a hit piece about how this is due to blah 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 racism blah blah. Pick a side and stick with it, then shut up!
Why do you think including diversity in the workplace reduces the quality of work? I thought you thought we were all nerds.
Let's address the idiotic nerds comment first. Being a nerd does not qualify for a lot of jobs. You don't need to be a nerd in order to be a janitor, a crabber, a firefighter, a politician, an actor, a teacher, a professional athlete, a mechanic, a priest, a bartender, an accountant, a landscaper, a pilot, a mailman, a cop, a doctor, a model, a welder, a car salesman, a DEI officer, or a truck driver. The answer to your question, though, is because it does, and usually by design. When a company chooses to ignore fully qualified men in favor of partially qualified women, that hurts the company because she is not fully qualified. You can see this currently being played out in the military. Similarly, this can often apply to race as well. I work at a community college where diversity is shoved down our throats. In my department alone, we've had interview rounds prematurely terminated because the only applicants were white men, which is somehow a bad thing because we need more women cleaning toilets and non-whites hauling trash for some reason. I have also seen 3 different positions of leadership filled with black men. Conceptually, I don't have a problem with that, especially since one of the 3 is actually kind of good at his job. But one of them can't even type a coherent email, and the third one had a criminal record of naughty touching, which was only addressed after he stalked and harassed at least 3 women whom he supervised. And yes, my using past tense is due to him no longer being employed here. It sucks knowing that there are good, qualified, hard-working non-whites out there who will be looked at as being nothing more than a diversity hire. But when that happens so much, it's hard not to speculate the integrity of someone's qualifications. Do you want another example? How about Ketanji Brown Jackson? Whether you feel that she has been doing good at the job or are intelligent enough to know that her opposition to the First Amendment is reason enough to remove her in itself, you cannot honestly say that she was not a diversity hire, chosen because of her race and gender. Kid Sniffer-in-Chief Joe Biden declared that his pick was going to be a black woman, not a Hispanic woman, not an Asian woman, but a black woman, because that mattered for some imbecilic reason. When you make diversity quotas your top priority, quality naturally goes down, intentionally or not.
Why do you think it's okay to call me exotic?
I mean, technically we're the largest part of the world population, so shouldn't white people be exotic?
Why do you leftists feel that non-monosyllabic words can only have one definition? Exotic does not exclusively mean rare. Heck, according to Merriam-Webster, it has nothing to do with rarities. The closest thing that I can see relates to that which is foreign, and considering that this is a mostly white country with a mostly European-influenced culture, exotic is a somewhat accurate term to use, especially since most of us Americans do not give a flying fig about what is rare or common in the rest of the world. Now sure, if a decent-looking white person went to Japan, I could see them being called exotic. which from what I have researched, the exact word would most likely be either ekezochiku, batakusai, or nanban, and not one white person would be offended. Well, they may get offended at the batakusai one if they knew that it literally translates to smelling of butter, at least according to glosby.com. I have no idea if I said that right or not. Other than that, it's just a word, a harmless word that cannot harm you. Stop acting like an adjective has that much influence over your existence.
Why do you think I can't see properly?
Isn't it interesting that they gave us 5 consecutive questions where they pretend to know what any of us are thinking? Well, I guess fictitious telepathy is one of the many defining deliriums of progressivism, which is why this video will have 7 questions as opposed to 5 in the finale.
Do you really think my eyes are that small?
I don't suppose they'll have any problems seeing the ball with their big American eyes. Yeah, good thing they had those big eyes so that they don't have to rely on that amazing American intellect.
I know that what I'm about to say is more about semantics, but it's not because your eyes are small. It's because your eyelids don't open up as much as the average white person's, at least according to stereotypes. Heck, the guy who refuses to forgive Emma Stone has eyes slightly wider than mine. But it is true that many Asians, specifically the Oriental ones, have this specific problem. There is a form of cosmetic surgery that was popular in Japan for a while, and it might still be, where women would get small cuts around their eyes, enabling their lids to open and give them a more Western look. Do those eyes have a difficult time seeing as much of the road as the average white person does? I don't know, but the reason for the stereotype is based on a reality, which may or may not be completely valid. I don't know.
You want to hear my impersonation of American? Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I really want that. That looks good.
That's the end of this one. Hopefully my throat will be better when I address the final few questions, which I plan to have come out sometime before Memorial Day. For the sake of my throat, and the fact that my break is almost over, we'll sign off here. Please never forget that if you abuse alcohol, it will abuse you back.